Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. A very special video here today on Stitzer, Wisconsin. So Stitzer is made by MRG. I'm sure if you've been following along in the farm sim world, you've heard about this at some point. This is a 4X map based on a real life location of Stitzer, obviously. This was, I've been following along for a while on MRG's Patreon just because I enjoy MRG's maps and I enjoy MRG. He's a good guy, and so he asked me to do a little farm tour or a map tour for him, which I appreciate. Thank you very much, MRG. It's always nice when you kind of get first dibs on a map tour. So we're down here at one of the southeastern-most farms. I think this is the southeastern-most farm on the map. We can take a look at the map right now. Sorry about not having field numbers. Having an issue with that right now with my game. Don't know what it is. I've had people tell me it's a mod conflict, but right now I literally have no mods in here besides easy dev. So I don't know. Or in precision farming. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird, but we this is the map essentially. So you got a lot of your like strip fields going on in the good old Wisconsin fashion. Not going to be super course play friendly for you. So if you like that challenge, then that's going to be for you. Obviously, you can always dig up the fields, plow them together, all that stuff if you want to be a little bit more course play friendly. But there's a lot of farms on here. There's a lot of farms. I believe there's 18 farms. This version is very, very close to the final version. There's a few things that need to be tweaked yet. I think there's one more farm up here that needs to be completed. And then maybe a few things here and there on some of the farms. But really, this is, visually, I think this is probably pretty close to what we'll see in the final version. So yeah, we're down here right now. There's a kind of decorational farm over here. I don't believe he's going to make this functional because it is kind of overgrown and all that. As we go up, there's there's kind of a co-op-y type thing, kind of where you can like rent toolbars and like anhydrous toolbars and stuff like that. Let's make sure we have all of our tip stations and stuff on. Another farm up here. Another small farm here. There's the dairy here. This is going to be your big sell point right here in town. Just kind of going over this, so then as we go through it, we don't really have to bring the map up a ton. A bunch more sell points down here. Your vehicle shop, wool sales, because there's a sheep farm up here. But pretty much it's a dairy. It's a dairy map. And then there's the big old co-op down here as well. So yeah, it's and then there's one pig farm. There's one sheep farm and one pig farm. Everything else is dairy farms. And I think there's this farm up here is going to be an arable farm. So pretty much everything else is based on dairy. And it's honestly, it's been very, very difficult for me to actually choose a farm that I want to play on because they're all really good. We're not going to get super in depth with the farms because that would just make this video insanely long. But we will drive to all of the farms, whether that be just kind of jumping here and there to the farms. I don't know if we're going to drive exactly to all of them on video. So yeah, this is one of the farms. We're just going to kind of quickly go through them. This is Swiss Valley Farm, I think. I don't know if he's going to put signs in for all of them. It would be cool if he did, but that's also a lot of farm names that you got to come up with if he doesn't actually know the names of the farms in real life. So, yeah, this is a cool farm. Got your kind of cold storage shed there. You got your shop over here. A cow barn here that has a pasture. Grain bin here, and then you have your like feed type bins here. This is a mineral feed bin, I believe. You got your harvest store here, and then you have your molasses tank over there in the green. Stitzer has a custom feed mix MRG made, and also a ton of other custom stuff. Like, if we go through here, if we bring up easy dev quick, and we, well, shoot, I was gonna have a trailer. Let's see if we can do it here. If we go through here, we might be able to. So yeah, you can see this. There's different seed types. So the thing is usually when you fill your seeds up, you have to do essentially like you push Y on the keyboard or whatever button you have set to that, and you can kind of scroll through them. But with this, you just have to bring the actual seed itself. Essentially, it's a seed extension built into the map. So you're not able to like choose just through Y by just adding a basic seed. It's seed types, right? So there's Pioneer Brown, mid-rib corn. There's all sorts of different ones. We'll go through that. I'm going to bring out a series of multiple other videos, kind of tutorial videos, because there's so much to this map that you got to know in order to play it, essentially. So this is really just a very broad overview of the map. So got inoculant, you can see all of the extra stuff. We got dry ear corn, we got dry corn, cracked corn, and hydrous built in. Just all sorts of stuff. Oat seed, sand. I think some of the farms you have to have sand for bedding. Triticale seed. Potash is in here. Urea's in here. Diammonium phosphate. So you kind of get it. Calcium. Ammonium nitrate. There's just all sorts of. And you can even see the feed stuff. Wet distillers, raw CCM, fermented CCM, wheat bran, bean meal, cottonseed you can feed, soybean straw, ear corn. Yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, that is kind of the overview of the kind of the in-depthness, if that's a word, to this map. We're just gonna kind of take drives through the farms as we go. A lot of these farms have these Pat's manure auger type things. One of the things about this map that I think is very underappreciated is the fields, like the back fields. We're gonna take a drive real quick. It's just something that you don't really know, but like the lanes back to the fields is really, I mean, it really is kind of a underrated thing on this map. It's really, they're just really good. The detail and time you put into these lanes back into these far fields that maybe you might not even ever farm. But it's just, yeah, it's a great map. Knocked over trees even, and this like rock type thing here. The little details are really what makes a map killer. But just coming back here into these fields, it's really cool. And this lane goes on forever. Essentially, you can kind of see it down there. So we're gonna just kind of circle through this guy's soybean field real quick, unfortunately. But so yeah, it's kind of a work of art, honestly. MRG's been working on this map for a very long time, and I hope you guys are able to enjoy it for a while, at least, until FS25 comes out. So we got pasture cows here. I think there's a few pasture cows yet that he's still gonna add, so that's the one. I mean, that is the thing that I love most about MRG maps, is that he always has multiple cow pens. I mean, not always, but if it needs it, he has multiple cow pens on each farm, right? So there's a lot of maps where it's just like one farm or one cow pen per farm, even though the farm might need like heifer pens and all that kind of stuff. MRG actually includes those in there, so most of the farms do have like a main dairy and then like heifer pens as well, which is great. Yeah, we're coming up. We're heading north right now. But I think this is one of the things that I think a lot of people don't do when they're doing a map tour, when they're touring a map themselves, is just drive the map. I think that it helps you appreciate the map more. This is kind of this area where you can get your, I think we're going to eventually be able to like get toolbars, rent toolbars and stuff or something like that from there. Yeah, just drive the map. Helps you kind of appreciate it more. Even there's a lane back into some fields that you might, you know, never even farm, because the 4X map is a lot to farm. We'll head here into one of the farms. This has been a popular one, so I've heard. From the testers and MRG, honestly. So they're all pretty relatively small farms, which is, I mean, pretty reminiscent of Wisconsin. At least, I mean, I recently, you know, was in Wisconsin, and I did see there's a lot of small farms. There was some really big farms, but there's some small farms as well. So yeah, this farm is pretty cool. Down there, those ag bags actually work. So they're like a silo, and you go in and you dump and you can ferment. And these little details here of the equipment just sitting out, old equipment and stuff, is something you see all the time on dairy farms, I feel like, or just farms in general. And it's really cool that he actually added that detail into these farms. Not all of them have them, but a lot of them have just equipment sitting around. And I personally really enjoy that aspect of it. This farm has probably one of the best surrounding fields for me. Like, I enjoy the surrounding field layout, essentially. It just gives a good vibe to me. There is traffic on the map, not a ton, but there is traffic on the map, as you can see, which I kind of can appreciate. Apologies if I do miss some stuff. There's a lot to go over, but also there's kind of something about just allowing you guys to explore it yourself as well. So this is the dairy across from another little farm. This is Edelweiss Creamery. I don't believe this is actually here in real life. This is just a custom little thing that he added in. It's artistic. What do they say? Yeah, you get what I'm saying. He added it in for map purposes. Losing my words already. We haven't even started the video. Hardly. Yeah. Pasture cows out there with your feed bunk. Bring your feed mixer out there. Feed them there. This is our main cell area. Really nice. Based off real life. This one is. There is a sign. Ready Ag Raw Soil Services. So if we come in here, we got our weigh station, we got the office. This area right here is cool because you can come through here and you can fill up on your wet distillers, your cracked corn, fermented CCM, silage, soybeans, cottonseed. You can even buy TMR, pig food, mineral feed, forage, bean meal, wheat bran, wet distillers. So you can buy like all the feed, extra feed stuff if you need it, which is great. Just come down here and tip it in your commodity shed, essentially. Really nice big bins here. What else is here? We have just a sell point, essentially. You drive through here, and this is your where you're gonna sell your grain off into the bins. Another kind of big shop area. Most of your like commodities and stuff, like your fertilizers and all that, will be over at the actual co-op itself. Nice little detail with the truck sitting outside. So yeah, it's just a nice, got a nice feel to it. Nice sell point. Get some cars. A floating car. Sure will be fixed. The town is quite detailed as well. Very nice. Some overgrown buildings there. Got the post office. He put quite a bit of time into actually revamping this town. I remember the early version. It wasn't nearly like this. So we'll head south now, and we'll check out. We heading south? We're heading east. We'll head east for now. I always get lost in the town, actually trying to figure out where I'm at. So this is Insight. This is going to be your co-op. Right here is where you can buy sand and your lime. Fuel point, weighbridge. Nice shop there. We got all sorts of decorations. If you've ever been to a co-op, they have, you know, you can rent your spreaders and anhydrous tanks and all that stuff. This is your anhydrous point. What else do we have? So yeah, this is anhydrous, herbicide, and solid fertilizer. So we'll pull in one of these bays and we'll be able to get our fertilizer. Like I said, it's a very broad overview of the map right now, because I'm going to go through and I am going to... I think this is our anhydrous point. I think the one over there was our fertilizer point. Well, I'm actually going to make tutorials on all of these things. So I'll make tutorials on farms. Probably going to make tutorials on how to use, you know, these areas like the co-op and the sell point and all that stuff, even though it's probably not needed, but I think I'm going to do it. And then we'll head east or west out of here. I'm all sorts of lost. I'm just going to keep the map up, I think, so you guys can kind of see where we're at. Eventually, we'll probably just start skipping the farms, but I just want to kind of give you guys a vibe of the map for a little bit. It's hilly. It's Wisconsin, essentially. This is a cool farm. It's a contractor's yard, so if you wanted to run as a contractor, you can do that. Even got a custom sign and everything. Custom harvesting group, grain hauling, manure hauling, swathing, merging, forage harvesting, packing, and bagging. So yeah, it's pretty cool. This is all functional. You even have your own bins and all that stuff that you can use. Coming up on the pig farm here. This is a pig farm. You can see your little pig feeder out there in the pasture that you bring your little feed mixer thingy to. And then this is one of the, like, pièces de résistance of this map. Essentially, this is one of the big ones. This is the big dairy. This is, I think, in my opinion, probably one of the best big dairies in Farm Sim. We don't get a lot of, like, big dairies. But yeah, this is definitely one of them. And I've actually spent quite a bit of time on this farm, just playing with it. We got a few bins, we got some old equipment, like you can see. Got our shop with some nice deco in there. We do have a heifer barn here, or a kind of an overflow, even if you wanted it to be an overflow of milking cows. Got our milking cow free stall is in there as well. All of these have like their separate feed things. Got our manure pit, slurry pit, silage pits. Goes back into some nice fields. Silage pad here. Another heifer barn. You got our calf barn here. There's 2 calf barns, which is cool. Each of those calf pens in there is an individual pen that you have to feed. Our feed bins, molasses, mineral feed, all that good stuff. Swiss Valley Farm here. Or I think that's the same sign, actually. We got another storage barn there. Another storage barn. We have another heifer barn. And then we have another barn here that's separate. And also down in the back here of this, I believe, yeah, you can see there, he's actually going to add, I think he's planning on adding even another area that I think cows will be out in pasture, and you feed them in there. So this farm is definitely a challenge as a solo player, but it's very in-depth and gives you a very good feel for what a large dairy might be like. This is just a massive calf barn. Like I said, each of these is a separate pen. So you need the enhanced animal mod for this map in order to have your calves. Let's see, where should we go next? We'll go check out the Pennsylvania farm, I think is what everybody's kind of coining it. Just south of here, there's an area, I think that he's kind of designated as like a build your own farm type of area. At least that's what I think. And I feel like I've seen him say that before as well. It's kind of just an open spot where it looks like there would be a farm, but I think he's just going to allow people to, that's a spot where you want to actually put your own farm in. Go for it. This is going to be a working pasture at some point as well. Like I said, I think he's still to add some pastures. It's just a massive map with lots of hills. And the map border's awesome. It looks great. Like, I mean, yeah, you can tell it's a border, but like, that's probably one of the better borders you can see in Farm Sim, to be honest with you. It reminds me a lot of like Loma. Loma's border is really good. So this is the Pennsylvania map. I love that you can just come through these like lanes and you just pop through the trees and there's just a farm. I think it just said Pennsylvania map. This is a Pennsylvania farm. This farm is actually based in Pennsylvania, but he wanted to add this farm in here. So yeah, he's taken some creative liberties. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Creative liberties. This is a really cool farm. It's got its slurry pit there. That's the main dairy area. I think that he's like planning on putting a milking parlor somewhere in this barn. Nice little like bale bunks there. Harvest store, you know, your feed type stuff. Open sheds. I don't know. This farm is just really cool. It's very intriguing to me. This one is. Even another slurry pit back here. That's pretty cool. It's been a while since I've actually looked at this farm, so this has given me an opportunity to re-explore these farms. Yeah, it's cool. And then even if you go up the back, like up the fields here, it's cool because you're like kind of on top of the map, essentially. So yeah, there are some pastures that are like a part of a field as well, which is really cool. So you can kind of, you can simulate like having your cows grazing the corn stalks and stuff like that, which is pretty neat. But we're going to jump back up to probably, I think, up here, and we'll head up north, where we're going to check out some of the northwestern parts of the map while I just about drive into some trees. So we'll catch you up there when we get there. Okay, so we're at this intersection. You can see that like bin thing up there, the leg up there. That's the Insight Co-op there. So we're going to turn left. We'll pull up the map quick for you. You can see where we're at. We're going north right now, but we're going to head towards the northwest part of the map. This is the newest part of the map. If you guys are familiar with kind of the progression of the map, MRG kind of released it in sections. So he kind of started on the northeast side. He worked his way down to the southeast, then to the southwest, and then the northwest is the newest area, which we really just kind of started getting playability on it just recently. So there's just a kind of a random little cow area here, which is pretty cool. You just feed your cows right there. I would say it's more of an overflow to this farm. This farm is one of my favorites. I think we have a kind of a heifer area there. We have our actual dairy here, like where our like tie stall where we're going to be milking. I don't know, I just get really good vibes from it. This barn right here is just really cool looking and decorative, and I don't know, it's pretty slick. Just some barns up there and shop. But I'm going to show you this really quick. This is cool. This is, I don't know, this barn is just probably one of my favorite barns I've ever really seen in Farm Sim. We open the door. This door also opens, but it's just like a, you know, it's like a hayloft, but like I see a lot of people now that have these kind of barns, and they like turn these into like event spaces, or like even put up basketball hoops in there and stuff. It'd be kind of cool to have like a basketball hoop hanging right there or something, you know what I mean? I'm sure you guys are familiar. as well with that. We have harvest or staves on each side of this here. I don't know if that is actually a working one, but over here we have our stationary cows in here. So I believe the way that you feed these is you take like a feed trolley. A perfect one for this map is by 46 Mods or Jono, and you bring it in here. And this is actually where we're gonna probably get all of our feed for the feed trolley, and then we'll come in here and feed these cows. So it's a pretty cool one. I like this barn a lot. This farm a lot, honestly. This is just a really good farm. Milk room. Good stuff. It's good stuff. Slurry pit thing there. This is where we load our cows. Very cool. Very cool. We'll go back to our little sidekick here, since we abandoned ship. Some of these farms I really like, so I'll probably get off on a little bit of a tangent on them, but bear with me. I'm going to try and put timestamps in the video. I'm not usually very good at actually doing that, but I will actually attempt to do that. We're going to keep heading northwest up here. Very hilly. Might need some power under your vehicles to actually traverse these hills. Grass is kind of taller of a height. This farm here is probably my second favorite farm. I also love this, just coming over this view here, over that hill. Like I said, you come out of these trees, you know, these lanes, or you pop over a hill and there's a farm there, and just like, it's awesome. It really is. The terrain and the work he put into the DEM to make it accurate and all that stuff, it's really great. It really is. We are definitely spoiled with Wisconsin maps on Farm Sim for sure. So we pull in here. There's a secondary drive there that you could see, but yeah, we pull in here. This is the main one. It's interesting because there's kind of a few houses. There's one here, there's one there, and there's even one down the lane, the drive there a little bit more. So that's pretty cool. Maybe it's like a family farm, or even like worker housing or something like that, you know. We got our decorative stuff, we got our shop. I love even the smoke that he's got coming out of the chimneys. Lean-to here. This farm is actually going to be the first part of the series that we're going to be playing on this map, so expect a series on this farm. Kind of my thought for a series on this map is it's going to be like kind of the farm community of Stitzer, essentially, like that. Everything, almost just about every year we'll switch up our farm. We'll go to a different farm, and it's going to be kind of like almost like a documentary type thing of like going through different farms and you know, like their stories of the farms and everything, because there's just so many good farms that it's hard to not play on all of them, or at least multiple of them. So yeah, slurry pit there. This is Legacy's milking barn. You might recognize that, but MRG's kind of taken some creative liberties with it and turned it into this. I don't know, I just really like it. I love the little 2-bay commodity stall there, your stave silo, heifer barn down here. Just it's a good farm. It's a really good farm. The fields surrounding this farm are my favorite as well. I think that's kind of what attracted me most of this is, I don't know, the something about these fields around it. It gets me. It does. But as you can see, I mean, there's a lot to this map, so this file size is quite large, but MRG, every update that he's brought out to testers, he's always reducing file size. So he's working on reducing the file size, but I wouldn't be surprised if this map is probably about 2 gigs by the time it's finished. So we have another kind of nice drive through the hills here. You can see another farm there that I think cows are going to be added to eventually. It's kind of just another small farm. But we're getting really up into here, into the northwest corner now. You can kind of see the map border. Come over this bridge. It's just so good. You just gotta spend some time and drive around. I think that's the only way to really appreciate this map. Is just you just gotta do that. Even this farm, it's kind of just sunk down in between some fields and stuff. It's very small. Like literally, what you see is what it is. But it's just cool. This farm here is probably my favorite. So the northwestern side of the map is definitely my go-to side, I'd say. So yeah, this is our northwest dairy essentially. I know he did a lot of custom work to this barn. I don't know if this is a fully custom barn or not, or if he just edited it a lot. We got our staves there for feeding. We got our tie stall, and we got some decorative ag bags. I don't know if he's going to make these functional like that one farm that we already looked at. It'd be kind of cool if he did. But there's a Pat's manure thing there. Big slurry pit, which is really cool. I don't know if eventually he's gonna have it where there's manure that spawns in this tie stall or this free stall. Because the thing about these is like that you can push your manure, your dry manure, into the slurry pits, and then I think eventually he wants to make it so where you can take your dry manure out. I think it's like a thing a lot like Little Mountain that he implemented into that dairy. I don't quote me on that, but I think maybe he's going to be doing that. This is pretty cool up here. Just the decorative bales that he's got put up here. For me, like things like this, it makes you actually like, I don't know, it affects my equipment choices, which is fine. Like on this farm, I feel like I have to run a square baler because these decorative square bales are on there. So I know he talked about actually making some of these decorative bales actually like a bale storage. He's kind of messed around with the idea of doing that a little bit here and there, and maybe even some like bale storages with just decorative bales along like roadsides and stuff like that. Because you've seen those. I mean, I'm sure anybody that's familiar with farm country, you've seen those where they just kind of have these like snakes of bales sitting around. There's a silage pit over there. Come through here. This is where we feed our heifer pen. We got our shop. Just like the little like retaining walls type of things is, I don't know. In the hilly nature, like the farms that are built into the side of the hills, those are the ones that I really like. This is a pretty cool barn. Just because he made it like transparent. I think that's actually like a thing with this actual barn. You can actually have like sunlight come through, which is really cool. So it's just a really nice barn. A lot of this stuff, MRG has really improved his blender skills over time, and yeah, I think this might be a custom barn. even. So there's definitely quite a bit of custom going on this map. So definitely something to appreciate about this farm or this map. Got a grain bin. We got another kind of heifer pen or something, or whatever you want to call it. And then a real nice cold storage up here that's kind of separated from the farm, which personally I think is really cool. So yeah, this is our Northwest Dairy, essentially, is what I'm going to call it, because that's what that's what it is. It's our northwestmost dairy. Come out here, you can see the arable farm. I think that's the arable farm. Arable farm over there. I don't think that one's just completely finished in a completed state yet, but we'll go take a look at it real quick. All right, so this is the. Well, I want to say that I'm wrong. I don't know if this is the arable farm. Because it looks like there's some cows here, so. I might be totally wrong on that, but maybe it's just an old dairy farm that's just going to be an arable farm. But yeah, the shop is really nice. Is this an old like FS17 or 15 shop or something? I think probably. I didn't play FS17 or 15, so don't quote me on that. But I think he's redone a lot of this and has kind of turned this into what it is. I think I'm sure some of you might recognize this shop. But yeah, it's a really nice shop. I like that one a lot. Kind of like a shop, cold storage combo type of a deal. So even just going back into that lane down there, and there's another lane over here to get to fields. Pretty cool stuff. So yeah, so essentially this is where we're at. So we're in the northmost part of the farm, or the map. So we're gonna go all the way back down, probably go through town, and then we're gonna start exploring. We're gonna go north through town. Well, maybe we'll go south. We'll go south. We'll check out the vehicle shop and all that stuff. And we'll check out Gierok Farms. Okay, so if we take a left at the post office, we'll start heading south. Yeah, I mean, just look at the detail in the town. It looks really nice. Just the bushes and the, foliage and all that stuff. Even that little like 3-bay shed there, and the little things, the church, little things that they put, the map makers and MRG put a lot of time into that you just don't appreciate. And I always try to really appreciate it. So we've got our Garrison's gas station. We got our Prairie State tractor. John Deere Green dealership. Good stuff. We all will recognize this Prairie State dealership, the one by Buck that he's done. So yeah, this is south. This is our animal sell and buy area. What's the sign say? Stitzer Livestock Exchange. Pioneer Seed Dealer. MRG Mapping Sales Representative. Very cool. I think we'll be able to buy our seed there. It's a little role play elements. That's a big deal. Our wool sell point. I think that's just a base game wool sell point. Going down some more hills. Remember, we're heading south. Just quietly taking in the scenes and the views until we get to our drive. Nice big field there. Old barn. See, that's even another detail there. There's an old rusted out barn over there. Very cool. See, that's the kind of stuff against farm. Like that's what makes me want to buy a field and farm it. It's weird. Just like the little details that you kind of get. I don't know what that path is. I know he made some like off-roading paths throughout the map, kind of on the south side. You can take your ATVs and your side-by-sides and dirt bikes and all that kind of stuff through the hills and the forest and stuff, which is really, really slick. So this is Gierok Farms. This is literally based off Gierok Farms. You guys are familiar with his YouTube channel. It's very, very close to the actual Gierok Farms, like the layout and everything. Which is cool. I think it's really awesome. Got our house, we got our corn crib, got our barn there, cold storage barn, another kind of hoop barn. Again, if you're familiar with Gierok Farms, they have this silage pad that's kind of right outside their tie stall that they do silage on. Tie stall with the Pat's feeder or manure thing. Got our heifer barn over here. Just a real small farm, but it's really nice. And down the way, down back here, we got a kind of a lean-to open-sided shed there. So yeah, it's just a really small farm, but if you enjoy Gierok Farms, this is the farm for you if you want to kind of mimic their farm, which I think I will be at some point in our series. I might even be trying to use the exact same equipment they have and stuff. So yeah, that leads us to now. We are going to head back north. We've seen this. We've seen this. We headed down here and we went north. So all that leads us is just got to get north in town, head straight up, and then we'll check out the rest of the farms. So again, this is the oldest part of the map. This is what's been kind of fleshed out the most, that has been tested the most, and all that stuff. So we will catch you guys up there. So just for direction purposes, there's the post office, so now we're heading north of the post office. I don't know why I used the post office as a common denominator of directions, but so even like little things like this, I don't know if this shop is actually usable, but like there's so many roleplay elements that he's added to this, and I know he intentionally did that. There's a lot of roleplay stuff that is in this map that he intentionally added just for those people that want to roleplay. Like you could even just start with that little shop there and just do, I don't know, whatever you really want. Make it your own, man. It's just what's cool about it. I don't know what this is. I feel like I'm exploring a new area that I've never done before. But we're gonna do it because it caught my eye, so why not? Just got a little lane back here to a big cold storage, essentially. That's kind of sweet. You know, start off as like some first generation farmer or something, and you got a shop right there by the road, and you built a cold storage shed down the way, and I don't know. Well, we got the MRG bird sounds in the shed there. Oh, that's cool. I never knew that was even there. See, that's the things you get when you just drive around a map. Very nice, very nice. I think that's is there a fire station on this map? Yes, we're going to be passing the fire station very soon. See, even another just shed there that you could use. Yep, we got our fire department. Very nice. Water tower. If you want to be a firefighter. I know there's that fire mod or whatever it is. I've never even tried it, but you know, there's a lot of things you can do on this map if you use your imagination. Okay, so this is where you used to start when you loaded into the map. You now start where we started at the beginning of this video, but we got a cow area, pasture thing there. House. it's just so cool. Just driving into these, even you gotta just drive over this bridge to get into the farm. How cool is that? Old buildings. This is just a tie stall barn with an old grain bin, corn crib, your ear corn. And this is where you feed them, and then you can go back to your fields that way. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. This is just an old equipment vibe for me with that farm. Be using some nice open station, I don't know, 1066 IH tractor or something like that there. I like that there's multiple houses on these farms too. It's definitely a common thing that you see, I think. I mean, I saw it quite a bit when we were driving through Wisconsin. It's like, you know, it's first, second generation, or just like the generations go on and they move into the houses, and, you know, kids take over and they want to live right on the farm, so you build a house, and yeah. So this farm coming up, kind of like a more wide open countryside up here on the northern side. I feel like each quadrant has a really different feel to it, which is really nice. This is one of the, see, multiple houses again on this farm. You got a big shop. This was one of my early favorites, but as new farms started getting added, I started picking out new favorites. So we got a tie stall here, which is nice. So this farm, there's I don't want to get the name wrong, but so there's ivermectin in this map, which is actually, for some farms, you have to use for the feed mix. So this is a vaccine table here. You actually buy your ivermectin and you put it on the table, and this is where it takes it essentially, and it's used for the feed. Is this? Okay, so yeah. So even here, this is a really cool feature of this one as well. Like I said, these are the more fleshed out farms. I don't know if every farm is going to have your ivermectin or your vaccines, but you can actually turn on and off your harvest store, and then you buy this, and then you actually enter it, and this is how you feed your cattle, your cows. Isn't that cool? Put your silage there and it'll come out onto the actual like feed belt, all that. Really cool. Really, really cool stuff. So it's just a different thing, you know? It's a different feature that you don't really see much. So this is kind of your main dairy. This is going to be your overflow. You can even put some stuff in here if you want to. You feed them over there. There's a slurry pit here, 46 mod slurry pit. Yeah. I feel like more open, you know, open landscapes and stuff. I feel like the northeast side of the map is definitely for you. Got some deco bales there, which is nice. Nice touch. Even on the back side of this barn, you have like a bale store that you can utilize there. Green bin. Coming down this way, there's another cow pen here. I don't know if he's going to be adding pasture cows, because there's a pretty sizable pasture over there. I got your manure belt there, so yeah, it's a cool farm. This one's definitely unique with its vaccine stuff and like the feeding belt. We'll head north now to the sheep farm. I just realized that I just completely like skipped over the pig farm. We just I don't know why. But I mean, we pointed it out, or I pointed it out, but I didn't actually go and look at it. So apologies for that. Cool that we got some pasture cows out here from one of the farms. The next farm we'll look at, actually. Got these pasture cows all the way out here by the road. We got our sheepies over here. So we'll turn into the sheep farm. Got a bale shed. Pretty basic farm. Got our shop. Another open-sided area. Open-sided barn. I believe in here is where you actually feed your sheep. I haven't actually taken a look at this one since he's updated it. Yeah. So you come in there and you feed your sheep through that. Sheep's trying to get out. Hey, you stay in there, fella. Alright? You're not allowed to come out. Yeah. Feed your sheepies in there, so if you're into sheep, you just want to have a play around with sheep, it's a nice custom built sheep farm for you. MRG's just so inclusive, you know. Has to put in the other animals, at least somewhere in the map, you know. Alright, so I believe we can take a north. We can go north and then we can go east on this lane out here. Field approaches, nice to have those. Always something that I look for in a map. Gotta have your field approaches. There is different texture or different corn looks for silage corn and your regular, like, you know, corn that you're gonna harvest. So we are on the northmost side of the map right now, heading east. We'll turn into this farm over here through the back way, essentially, is what we're doing. So these pasture cows that we saw are part of this farm. Open shed with some deco junk in there. Cattle, pasture, but this is where you feed them. Quonset type hut, big storage shed, another bank barn here. Big old tie stall, a really big silo. You actually do your feeding in that room there, and then there's two separate. You actually feed your tie stall cattle here, and then there's another heifer type lot right there. So we'll head out through the main entrance now. I don't feel like I'm doing it justice by just really rushing through these farms, but again, you guys can explore it on your own. We're gonna take a north. There's another farm right there, like right next to it, but we're gonna go north real quick and we're gonna check out this farm. So I don't have all the details on this farm. Essentially, I know there's a different way of feeding these cows. I think you have to have like a creep feeder or something like that for these cows, and then you bring your like your mixer out here, like the one by JMF that he released. You know what I'm talking about. Your like corn, your mixer. It's not like an actual feed mixer. I can't remember the actual name for it. It has like the little mini auger on it, and yeah, you know what I mean. It's like where you grind your corn and stuff like that in it. So this could be easily used for like beef cattle if you want to. I always thought this would be like a good overflow to one of these other farms. You know, if you wanted to raise your steers out here or something like that, it'd be pretty cool. So I believe you take your feed down to that little silent, or that little pad down there, and I think that's where you have to feed them. So I think you take like a creep feeder out there, and then you bring your mixer or your grinder, and then you feed them that way. So really small basic farm here, but it's a cool one. It'd be nice, like I said, you could like lease this farm and use it as a extra cow area for one of the farms that you're using. That's up here. So we'll head directly south again, and we'll go to the next farm. This one's a cool one too. This one's one of my favorites. This one was up here for a long time but didn't have functionality, and I think he was just kind of messing around. He couldn't figure out really what he wanted to do with it. Then he kind of got into the groove and kind of figured out what he wanted to do with it. So this is a cool one. All these farms are just nice because they're like built into the side of, well, not all of them, but these ones that are kind of built into the side of the hills is just really cool. So you can see in there, got kind of a freestall type area right in here. I don't believe he intends to let the cows come out into that area at all. They're just all going to be in the actual barn. And then this is your tie stall, which is you feed right here. Probably more of your main milking spot. This is going to be your slurry pit. Corn crib again, if you want to do ear corn. Stave, feed mixer. Nice little barn there, and then you have another cold storage, you have your silo, and then a nice little shop. I like this shop a lot. The shop is really nice. I actually spent a lot of time putting deco in here because I did a little bit of a test on this farm. Put a ton of deco in that shop. And then it's connected to the cold storage. I always like the shops that are connected to their cold storages. That's always really nice. Alright, so we'll take a look at the map. We have just one more farm to take a look at. I know this is probably one of MRG's favorites. This was probably one of the earliest farms that was on the map, other than I think these two. This one's really cool. So, I guess MRG's favorite is best for last, right? So, and I believe there's a way that we can just drive down to it via the road. I don't think we have to teleport or anything there. Hop back over the bridge and we'll head this way. I like the proximity of these two farms. I don't know why. I just think it's kind of cool to have two farms right next to each other like that. This would be one heck of a multiplayer map if you guys wanted to do that. I mean, even if you just farm, you could farm the big farm together. That would be a good way to play multiplayer. And or you can just farm. I mean, everybody has their own farms, and it would be perfect for that as well. Nice laneway back into some fields. We'll pop out of these trees. We'll be right next to the farm. This one's cool. This one really is probably one of the best hillside farms. Lots of cool features on this one. Don't believe there's cows in there. I think that's just kind of an old barn. This is another one of those pastures where I think you have to bring a mixer, like a grinder out to feed. So that's a separate area from these ones. But yeah, there's bales here. I think this is kind of what I was talking about. I don't know if he's planning on making this a bale storage or not. We'll go over the bridge. Just a lot of detail on this farm. Even up there, you go into another pasture. I don't believe it's functioning, and I don't know if it will be functioning, but kind of a mini shop here with a fuel tank. Again, creep feeder right there. I think you have to feed these cows with your grinder. Just cool. House is right there. We keep going up. And we got our feed mix area right here. Can hop in to this barn and probably be a pretty good spot for storing some bales and stuff if you wanted to do that, because you do have to you back your feed mixer in, your feed wagon into there, and you got your molasses tank and your mineral feed or whatever you're putting in there. Another pasture, which I'm not sure if it's going to be functioning or not. Kind of your shop area. The hydraulic door. Very nice, very nice. Come up here and we got bale storage. Got some ag bags. Another cold storage. Corn crib. Bins there. Bank barn with the tie stall below. Put bales in. Milk spot, slurry pit. So that's not actually where you feed them. You actually feed these cows through here. So you have to take your feed wagon through here and feed. And you kind of can just drive through and out right there. This is another cow spot, I believe. Yes. This is kind of another, you know, can be your overflow or even your heifers. It's named as a heifer area. So lots of cow or cattle pens on this farm. And these also these ag bags. I think it would, again, I think this would be pretty cool if you made these standalone ag bags functional silos like that one farm had. Like that would be really cool. So yeah, that's the map tour, guys. I know it's probably, I mean, honestly, I think this probably is going to end up being an hour. So, I mean, but there's no way around it. There's just so much to see on this map. But like I said, I'll be coming back out with some tutorial videos on how to, likely how to feed, on make your feed or where to feed on each farm. Manure, slurry, straw, triggers on every farm. We'll probably break that up into sections. Honestly, we'll probably break it up into quadrants, kind of like how he did. We'll probably do like these ones in one video, and then like probably down here in one video, and then maybe up here in one video or something like that. Then I'll tell you guys how you can use urea and all that kind of extra fertilizer stuff and all the good stuff. So there's a lot of custom stuff, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy this map. There is a release date set, so be on the lookout for it. It's looking like he's pushing hard to get it done, so we really appreciate that. Just such a great map to end FS22 off on. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more. Go support MRG on Patreon. There's a $5 tier option. It's just to, you know, support his work. Help him, you know, buy a coffee or whatever. I know he's a big foodie. So just kind of to say thanks for all the hard work that you put into these maps, and thanks for allowing us to enjoy them. Farm Sim would be nothing without our mappers and modders, so definitely give him a look up on Patreon. There is the $25 version that you can be a tester. Honestly, in my opinion, it's well worth it. So, but if you wanted to just support $5 here or there, go for it. I think that's a great way to say thanks. So, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.